Outlaw, macho, drive-in.
I really wish that ECW had survived a little bit longer, because just think of how many of like the Ring of Honor guys would have been in ECW. I think the style would have changed. Obviously, Uh, you know, Daniel Bryan cutting his Ring of Honor style promos in
Oh,
the ECW.
yeah, that would
Um,
CM
CM
Punk in
Punk,
ECW would have been.
um, Christopher Daniels in ECW.
Jay Lethal.
There's Jay Lethal. A lot of guys would have been perfect for ECW.
Damn it. The
Um,
Briscoe brothers would have been perfect for ECW.
the Briscoes would have continued the hardcoreness, and they would have been they'd honestly would have had the torches passed to them.
Yeah.
They would have been known as the new, honestly,
The New Dudleys.
a huge
Sorry.
hypothetical.
Yeah.
If ECW had survived and kicking today, say they signed with ECW in 2001, you think about their Ring of Honor tenure being from 2002 till now. If the Briscoes had been in ECW from 2001 until now, a good chance they have been known as the Mount Rushmore of ECW. Honestly, had they signed with them, there's a great chance that could have happened.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Mm-hmm. There was something that that's a long time ago, Paul, talking about if it did continue, he was going to go dark and restructure and sign these guys. But I forgot the list of the names. But it could potentially have been indie people who starting out in potential Ring of Honor stars. So it would have been interesting. It would have been, it probably would have changed the whole landscape of things.
Oh, it
Stuff
totally
like that.
would have.
Yeah.
It would have you could see them, like, for example, like if we're saying that ECW continued and WCW had still folded, like I would see AJ Styles jumping to ECW there directly, for example.
Yeah.
And
Well,
can
and
you
think about it. What
imagine?
would
And you would have had a prime RVD versus a prime AJ Styles back then, like that, or like an up and coming AJ Styles, not a prime AJ Styles.
And the scary thing is, if it did and it's to see what will happen to TNA.
TNA would not exist. Like I think TNA
No.
and Ring of Honor, they came out of this vacuum
Well,
that
Ring
not
of
necessarily WCW left, but ECW left more, because that's
Ring of Honor, especially because Ring of Honor was formed because of ECW.
Yeah. Ring of Honor was formed by Gabe, right?
Gabe and Feinstein. Feinstein, our video, they released a lot of the ECW tapes. And that's another way I'd see a few tapes of ECWs, was every once in a while to get those down there. But like, he needed a new company because they had ECW and they had like FMW. FMW was also on its way out at that point. Feinstein needed something. Gabe was like Heyman's right-hand man in ECW. So it's like, hey, let's partner up and form ECW without hardcoreness, but still going to have hardcore, blow off certain feuds. It's going to be perfect for it. And that's why a lot of early ECW or early Ring of Honor feels like early ECW, honestly, just flipped. Instead of focusing in on the hardcore aspect, but having technical, it was technical that had hardcore. Yes. Yeah. They're perfect companion pieces for each other.
Yeah, and now that I think about it, TNA might have still existed, because I think the Jarretts would have wanted to, have a company anyway. I think TNA's aim was to take over WCW spot, not ECW spot.
Yeah. The thing, because TNA was an offshoot of WCW for wrestling for the stuff.
But if had ECW still existed, I don't think I think TNA
it wouldn't last.
I don't think TNA would have lost. I think TNA would have always been chasing that number 2 spot instead of the number 1 spot that they so ambitiously chased but never could get.
Me too.
Because half the people we talked about wouldn't be in TNA, probably.
No.
AJ,
James Mitchell, Samoa Joe would have been like Samoa Joe. Can you imagine Paul Heyman getting his hands on Samoa Joe? That's and then again, Yeah.
Heyman might not even have been involved. Heyman easily could have been the one to sell the promotion to Feinstein and Gabe, honestly.
And Gabe would have
Yeah.
added to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe they wouldn't be
Samoa
no
Joe
Ring
would
of
have
Honor.
been their Taz.
Yeah,
No, that's the point though. There wouldn't have been a Ring of Honor because that's why ECW would have existed, because Ring of Honor spawned from the ashes of ECW.
Mm-hmm.
I would have been okay with that. Samoa Joe easily would have been their Taz.
Yeah.
Would have been a glorious time. Honestly, Tommy Dreamer probably still would have been employed with them.
Tommy
Yeah.
Dreamer would have had, like, if, for example, I think 2003, 2004, Tommy Dreamer would have like that long ECW title reign.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Preferably,
that's a
preferably with a heel turn, and
I honestly think Tommy Dreamer versus CM Punk would have been phenomenal, because you would have had the locker room leader versus this guy that wants to slap people in the face.
yeah.
And basically think of his Ricky Steamboat stuff, but with Tommy Dreamer. I think that would have been excellent.
And then again, CM Punk versus Raven, that might have taken place in ECW as it is.
ECW, that's what I was thinking too. Yeah, and it's weird because it would even a mess with WWE, because certain people who joined, like RVD, would stay in ECW.
I think RVD would have taken a WWE contract eventually.
Yeah, but just later.
Because I think he would have joined instead of 2001. I think he actually probably would have joined about 2002. But he was super hot at that point. It's like he would have taken the money. I think he would have returned. Yeah. Raven would have probably returned to ECW after his WWF stint.
So was Shane Douglas, because he wouldn't go anywhere. Eventually, I think after WWE, the Dudleys would have went back.
Yeah,
I think Dudleys would have returned to 2005, 2006.
I think a lot of the WWE cast-offs would have went back to ECW instead of going to TNA.
Yeah, I do too. Guys like Christian in 2005, I think if TNA still had existed, he might have gone to TNA. Because TNA was always trying to be WWE. I don't know. Although I would have loved to have seen Christian in CW also.
Here you go, Joe. So no Ring of Honor. Would you think that they'll keep ECW, but be more wrestling focused and just have the
that's what I'm thinking. That I still think they would have still had hardcore matches, but I think because of how the times were changing,
it might have been more frequent than they do now.
I think it'd be that'd be pay-per-view matches. That'd be the pay-per-view match. They'll build to that instead of having on TV. Yeah.
Or it might have been more like New Japan style, where like there are rules, but the referee basically just lets the stars do. Yes. I think that might have been kind of the way they might have gone as well. I don't know. I think it would have been pretty glorious if that would have happened that way.
But see, the domino would be weird, because if that had an ECW and it was right now, there probably wouldn't be no Evolve. Only if they kicked Gabe out for reasons and stuff like that. It's fascinating.
Evolve wouldn't have happened, because if Ring of Honor never happened, Evolve never would have happened. Because the reason Evolve happened was because of the whole fallout with video, the fallout with HDNet, the stuff with Cornette and Delirious. There's a lot of things that led to Evolve becoming a thing, and Feinstein still would have played a role, because Feinstein still would have had his issues. For full control probably still would have gone to Abe after Delirious split. Yeah, I think Gabe himself would have done more of a focus on in-ring action, because if you look at his two babies of ROH and Evolve, focus in on wrestling. I think he would have done that, especially after Feinstein left. But yeah, it would still have hardcore matches. But as I said, I think it would have been more like New Japan style in a way. Here's one though, like Moxley. Moxley was never in a main promotion before he came to WWF or WWE.
Yeah.
He was just indies. He was just CZW pretty much. He was never in TNA RO. Yeah, he did have like an ROH match, but he was never ROH
He was never
featured
an
guy. He
ROH
was never
guy.
contracted.
Yeah.
He would a lot of people have like a one-off match in ROH, but he was never contracted to them. Moxley, I think the whole CZW thing, CZW still I think would have just been known as a
I think if
knockoff.
CZW, if CZW had would have went forward, I don't think they would have lived long if ECW was still around.
They started before while ECW was still around.
Mm-hmm.
Because they started in like '99.
Yeah, but were they doing hardcore back then, or did they just start amping it up after ECW was gone?
They were still doing hardcore back then because they were trying to be the hipstery indie. Yes, because since ECW was coming mainstream, they wanted to be Philadelphia's hardcore equivalent. And I think they would have been kind of like XPW, where it would have been like, oh, this is just like a knockoff. I don't think they never had like videos in stores. Like XPW had videos in stores, but they died like after 2 years. CZW honestly might have been almost like their farm. It might have been like their developmental. They might have worked out a deal with them to send guys down there. Like ROH was doing with PWG for a while.
Yeah.
It's a possibility. But I think Moxley would have after a short stint in the indies and CZW, I think he would have had a taste for mainstream wrestling before WWF. I think he would have been in ECW.
Yeah. And I think
that's a whole nother bag.
And I think he might have rose up to TV champion. I don't know, like how they would have pushed him. Like,
I think so. Yeah.
Could he have become ECW champion? Do you think Moxley would have been pushed that much in ECW?
I think he would have.
But it's hard to tell you what they roster with. He could be number 10. So it's up to how many stars they had there. Think about it. They had Jay Lethal, Daniel Bryan, Samoa Joe. You know,
and I think
AJ Styles. So yeah.
I think 2009 Taz would leave WWE, go back to doing commentating and / managing.
I think so. Yeah.
So you would bring a lot.
Yeah.
Agree.
WWE had to be doing some pilfering for them to start moving up. Because
But here's the thing: if ECW is still around today, do they still have that unspoken agreement with the WWE?
No, I don't think so. I think that would have ended. I think as soon as in my mind, Heyman would have been exiting in 2001 regardless. He would have been he was in a financial stump, so he would have sold the company to RF Video. He would have still taken the job with WWF in 2001. I think maybe 2001 they might have had a little bit of partnership just to kind of get them on their feet. But I think once like 2002 happened, they would have gone their opposite direction.
But here's the if. It had to be Gabe, because Gabe will eventually have to separate from RO Video for circumstances.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
I think Rob would have still left. I think Gabe would have retained ECW, and Rob would be the one on the way out.
Yeah, and I could see Gabe might form in a partnership like was it
Like
Florida
Gabe,
Championship Wrestling,
Gabe,
FCW,
Yeah.
with them.
Gabe
Yeah.
is good at opening doors. Like
Yes.
Yeah.
like when
Partnership
companies say
stuff. So yeah,
they're open for business, I think Gabe is the most guy that is actually we're open for business.
because it makes sense. Yeah.
Here's the thing that would have changed the most. Domino effect on this one. ECW guys would jump ship from ECW to WWF.
Mhm.
ECW guys wouldn't have been jumping to NXT. So Kevin Steen, Sami Zayn, Adam Cole,
Yeah,
they wouldn't have been going to NXT. They'd be going straight to the
and
main roster,
and
basically.
that's the idea. Like,
Mhm.
would NXT be that NXT if there's
I
an
don't think
ECW,
so.
which is kind of like a developmental. So you would still
I
have
think
NXT as the reality show type of gimmick, and
I think NXT still would have been more like 2013 NXT. It would have, but sans Seth Rollins.
yeah,
It still would have been basically like that. It still probably have a show on the network, but they wouldn't be on USA. They'd be on the network.
Mhm.
Peacock, whoever's listening, whatever you're getting your WWE entertainment from. But there's definitely huge domino effects with everything.
yeah.
Mhm.
And here's
Yeah.
another question: would they have ever started a women's division?
ECW,
Yes. It will.
I think so.
It'll be often how Ring of Honor is, where they didn't, but then they did, then it was successful, then they scaled back.
I feel that basically and anyone who is in the knockouts division, I think the knockouts division from TNA, basically all those women would have been signed with ECW, and that would have
Yeah,
been the people they would have
and
built the division around.
and I think
Mhm.
like the women that actually made their way into NXT, minus Sasha and Paige and imports from other countries, would have at least passed through ECW for all.
Yeah,
Mhm.
So like
yeah,
you would get that version of Bailey or Sasha Banks in there. But Charlotte, of course, was going to
right.
be NXT like right from the bat. That's not going to
Yes,
change.
yeah,
And
yeah,
Paige, I think they brought from
Mhm.
the UK specifically for NXT, so that's not going to. But
yeah.
Mhm.
I think if Elise would have been perfect for ECW. If
Oh yeah. Actually, a lot of the people that became big in Lucha Underground would have been, I
I
think,
was just thinking a lot of like the
Brian
numbers.
That's me
Cage.
too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
Brian Cage,
It's a
mhm.
huge.
Matt.
There's more. I think there's more of a domino effect of what if ECW stayed than what if WCW stayed,
Yeah,
because of the whole what if WCW. All you can easily say is TNA. You can easily just say that they just did
WCW would have
that,
been. Well,
but
yeah,
Yeah.
would have continued the decline into TNA. I don't think like even if
yeah,
WCW was still fun enough to have sold, I don't think there was any stopping that 2001 momentum train of the WWF.
same
It was
here,
just too powerful.
And
same
all
here.
it, and all it is would be a back and forth. So it'd be like it is now with AEW. WWE release people, you'll see them on WCW.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it, and they'd be going back and forth. That's all. And then
Yeah,
they'll get an in
So
talent.
that's
Everybody like them. Yeah.
a scary thing because I don't think like EC like a lot of like I think Lucha Underground would have happened regardless, but a lot of like people that would have been free for that it would have been tied up in ECW.
yeah,
Like
yep. I do too.
Matt Cross, who's son of Havoc. I don't
Yeah,
think they would have let him. I think he would have like been tied down to ECW. He's
Hmm.
kind of like that version of where they were going in 2001, and he released like we said.
I
Who
got one
else?
for you though.
Who else was on there?
If ECW's, I know this kind of different, but I thought about it. If ECW's still around, will there be a pro wrestling gorilla? Because that's
I
another one to me on the West Coast side of
yes.
indie
I
darlings they came.
I think so.
I'd say so because none of those guys were known really beforehand. They all formed the promotion together, and it became an indie sensation. A PWG, I think, would have still existed. I think PWG might have become a West Coast partner of ECW, for them to send like guys who live in California
So you'd
to
see
tune up their game down there.
Yeah, so you'd see ECW guys showing up in the Battle of Los Angeles.
Yes, yeah,
tournament
exactly.
games,
Yeah.
or-
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think.
It's good,
Yeah,
I
I
think.
think. I think in any ways, like because PWG does not have. I don't like. From all people who talk about their structure, they don't. They never had any intentions of growing bigger than what they are.
No.
They're just.
Mm-mm.
We're just, a Southern California-based company that's producing like a lot of, an underground vibe wrestling. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
So,
Thank you for joining us on the Outlaw Macho Drive-In. If you liked that video, please click like and subscribe to our channel for more content from the Drive-In. For full episodes of our podcast, you may look us up on Anchor, Spotify, or wherever your favorite podcasts are available. Just search for Outlaw Macho Drive-In. And if it's not too much trouble, would you help us out here? Spread the word, share. We would really appreciate it. Thank you. We love you. Bye.